woman listed in the kings of Israel. She's not a legitimate king. And she tries to kill off all of her grandsons. She gets them all but one. The scepter will not depart from Judah, nor lawgiver from between his feet till Shiloh come. And Joash survives, and he's taken away, and we'll go through that story too. Now, what I'm doing is reviewing the high points of Baal worship. It may take me next week or the following week to get through it. But what I want to do is get through these high points, and then we're going to go back, and we're going to go through all of these characters. These characters will be coming out your ears before we're through. You'll be going, your brain will be frying. Because it's like the young and restless in Israel. It is as the world turns. Incest and murder in the family, and brothers raping sisters, and brothers killing brothers, and plotting and murdering. And this is just in David's family. Man, last time I taught on the history of Israel, somebody said, well, if you'd told me it had all this in it, I'd have read it a long time ago. It is a sex book. It is a killing, murdering. You can't get in anything like the kings of Israel. Now, but if you look here in verse 24, Asa slept with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, his father, and Jehoshaphat his son reigned in his stead. And Nadab the son of Jeroboam brought golden calf into Israel. Do you think Nadab is a very good guy? Notice all the time he gets. He don't get but 2 verses here. That's all he gets. Talk about unimportant. And they ain't very good verses either. And Nadab the son of Jeroboam began to reign over Israel in the 2nd year of Asa king of Judah. When he's been reigning 2 years, Nadab begins to reign over Israel 2 years. He did evil in the sight of the Lord and walked in the way of his father in his sin wherewith he made Israel to sin. Then he dies, and Baasha's son reigns in his stead. Now let's keep going in these high points. The next real high point is the 16th chapter of 1 Kings. Go to the next chapter. Here's the next high point. 1 Kings. 16th chapter. We could read through the whole chapter, but I won't do it. It's take too much time. Goodness sakes, let me get me a drink of water. We'll read through these as we come back. I'm just high pointing Baal in the Grove. And we'll pick up some Moloch and Shemash as we go through. And this is why God scattered Israel. And it's the same system that was brought in the church eventually and called Christmas. And because of Christmas, or because Baal in the Grove, God scatters Israel. They come back after 2,600 years, become a nation, possessing the land through the miraculous sovereign will of God. And now we're at war for the duration until the 70th week of Daniel's 70 weeks. And what I'll be doing, I'll also be bringing out the 70 weeks of Daniel, all this. And that is the key to all prophecy. That's the key. When you come to Grace and Truth Ministries, I will paint this thing on the 70 weeks in such great detail, you'll know more than the president of Dallas Theological Seminary, which is not very much, in case you don't know that. When you know the 70 weeks of Daniel, we got people here. David studied 70 weeks of Daniel. If you want to talk to somebody that can throw all these facts at you just as fast as he can talk, he's been listening to the 70 weeks for about 10, 12 years. And he listened to them over and over and over and over. And he can throw these facts, dates, names, people, when they happened, when the decrees were, who gave the decrees, what they were for. And you'll get to where you can do that if you follow us all through this. I'm not doing this to show off. I'm doing this so you can be strong in the Word of God. And you cannot, absolutely cannot understand the prophecy chapters, which are the greatest prophecy chapters in the New Testament, Matthew 24, Mark, the 13th chapter, Luke, the 21st chapter. You cannot understand these chapters unless you understand Old Testament Israel and they're being scattered. You can't do it at all unless you understand why they were scattered. That's why we're going through the history. And when you see the whole picture, you'll get a hold of it. Now, here's the next high point in Baal worship. Look here and let's read down to it. Oh gosh, I don't want to read all this. Let's just start here in verse 28. So Omri slept with his fathers. That means he's dead. He died. So Omri sleeps with his fathers and was buried in northern Israel. It says Samaria. Well, he is king of northern Israel, isn't he? Isn't he? Well, yeah, this is northern Israel. So why wouldn't he be buried there? He was buried in northern Israel or in Samaria. And Ahab, his son, reigned in his stead. Ahab is the son of Omri. And in the 38th year of Asa, king of Judah. Remember, Asa reigns 40 years? Then you have to pay attention to this. In the 38th year of Asa, when Asa's been reigning 38 years, began Ahab to reign in northern Israel. Ahab starts reigning in northern Israel. The son of Omri reigned over Israel in Samaria 22 years. So what they're doing is giving you up front how long Ahab reigns. And Ahab the son of Omri did evil in the sight of the Lord above all. Now whenever you see this, a phrase like this, always underline it. Not only did he evil, but he did evil above all that were before him. He did more evil than any king. And it came to pass, as if it had been a light thing for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat. Boy, every time Jeroboam, not this Jeroboam down here, he's Jeroboam the second, but anytime it says Jeroboam the son of Nebat, he walked into the wickedness of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, and he repented not. Jeroboam brought golden calf into Israel, and we'll go through that too. And he had a purpose for it, for bringing it in. It was more or less a title deed to northern Israel. Without the golden calf, they won't have kings in northern Israel. Some of you have heard me teach on that. Now, it came to pass that it had been a light thing for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, that Ahab took to wife Jezebel. Here she is, witch at large, the daughter of Ethbaal. Ethbaal, when you look him up in the McClintock Strong, he was a priest of Baal, and some believe he was a priest of the Ashtaroth. He was a priest of the female and male deities. And he went and served Baal and worshipped him. Now, verse 32 is very significant. It's a real high point in Israel.